you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
This is FPC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In tonight's bulletin, quality of English used over the years deteriorating, says Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama. Government upgrades government shipping services infrastructure. A new board to look into lack of efficiency within LTA. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama wants the English standards of all Fijians polished. Speaking at the Fiji National University Alumni Gala dinner in Suva last night, Bainimarama says there's no doubt the quality of English expression in Fiji over the years has deteriorated. Chanel Sivan reports.
Far too many people in our schools, tertiary institutions, government, the private sector and even in the media are making basic errors in spelling, grammar and sentence construction. The Prime Minister says he continuously sees the most senior people in the civil service unable to write English with clarity, simplicity and in the correct manner.
Instead of choosing simple words to get their message across, they use big ones, as if to demonstrate to everyone that they've been educated. Some of these people have high degrees from overseas universities, but they either haven't learned or have forgotten the words, are the tools we use to convey ideas. And an idea can be conveyed much more effectively with language that is simple.
While English is not our mother tongue, Bainimarama says it is our national and global language and is used in all forms of communication and mediums of teaching, so we need to master it properly.
Everyone wants to learn it. When I was in China recently, I offered in several of my meetings to send Fijians to teach English in China. So maintaining and improving our national capability to speak and write English to international standards is very important.
The Prime Minister says we are falling short of the mark because we often use Finglish or Fiji English, which may be okay to use around a grog bowl, but we always need to meet international standards. And how can we improve this? It's simple. Read a lot.
I don't think the culture of reading in Fiji is strong enough. While our parents certainly read a lot more in the days before television, many young people especially don't seem to read at all for recreation. They've got their heads buried in their mobile phones. And as long as they can text, tweet, or put up a Facebook posting, that's all the writing they think they need to do. No wonder so many have trouble writing a letter or a decent resume.
The Prime Minister says we need to develop a culture of reading in Fiji, and when we do so, it will raise the standards of English expression because people as well as nations are inevitably judged on their ability to write well. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Now, the Ministry of Education will examine the content of the compulsory English unit being taught to graduates at tertiary level. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy told Parliament recently of plans his ministry has to address the poor use of the English language by graduates. Eleanor Turangai View reports.
The Education Ministry is looking to reintroduce old strategies like journal writings back into the school curriculum as part of its efforts to improve the use of the English language among students and graduates. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says there are factors to consider as to why some graduates have a poor command of English.
Majority of students and teachers in Fiji are second language speakers of English. And this is not only common to Fiji, but in all the other Pacific Island countries as well, and a number of other countries throughout the world. Secondly, small percentage of students and teachers operate wholly in English on a day-to-day basis, Madam Speaker. So English again becomes a second, third language.
Dr. Reddy says some teachers do not have the right qualifications because they came in at a time when it was not necessary to have formal training. The Education Minister was asked to clarify why graduates, some of whom are from universities, do not have a good command of English.
USP used to have a basic entry exam. They sit for it before they get admitted into the year one, and that has been removed, so we want to talk to them. But the universities now have introduced a compulsory language course for all students, immaterial of what program they're going to enroll in, they'll have to do that.
Dr. Reddy says the ministry is also looking at bringing back certain methods of teaching, like DIA, which is drop everything and read, to encourage students to read and better their knowledge of the English language. Eleanor Turangayu, FBC News.
The upgrading of the government shipping services infrastructure is currently underway. Ali Kimbia reports about $6 million has been allocated for these works.
The government shipping services yard is undergoing a major facelift with the aim of providing better working environment and better service to the people. Initial works include the dredging of the waterways, costing around $800,000.
We've just completed phase 1 of the dredging and looking forward to phase 2 and phase 3 taking place. These works have not been undertaken for the last 20 years.
The GSS office space, shed and engineering workshop has been demolished to make way for the construction of a new one, which cost government over $4 million.
That has been awarded to a construction company who has started the demolition process, and again, this is a two-phase project starting this year and hopefully will complete towards the latter part of 2016.
$1.35 million has been earmarked by government for the civil works for the rehabilitation of the jetty.
The tender process behind it has been completed, and the award has been made to a company to come and do this, again, another long overdue work to our jetty that will run into next year and hopefully complete towards the end of next year.
With this development, government has urged GSS workers to redouble their efforts to serve the people and to set a standard of excellence for the whole shipping industry. The continuing upgrade of the GSS shows the ability of government to provide better and quality service to the most isolated parts of Fiji. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The new board of the Land Transport Authority will study a report that identified a lack of efficiency at the LTA. Minister for Infrastructure and Transport Praveen Kumar Bala presented the report that was prepared by the Ministry for Anti-Corruption to the board's first meeting. Shireen Lata reports.
Service delivery at the Land Transport Authority is one of the main areas of concern highlighted in the report. Transport Minister Praveen Kumar Bala said he pointed that out to the board at its first meeting recently.
My main area of concern was the service delivery, which they're also aware of it, and they have promised and assured me that they will look into it, and that definitely there will be some difference in coming months.
Kumar says the board can immediately implement some recommendations in the report, while others will need legislative changes.
I've asked them that they need to go through this report. I've been assured by the board that they will make sure that they will make a difference as far as LTA operation is concerned.
A review committee is expected to be announced soon to look into legislation. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, tomato farmers in Benga want an established market for their produce.
Oya wa watisani dalai.
Vanga ya mozidon.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kene bitu. Ena via kabi. Moliti kene porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM. Namba 2 NSR.
Welcome back. You're with FBC News. A new multi-story building will grace the Suva shore in the next 2 years. Fijian Holdings Limited has finalized the design of its new flagship building in the heart of Suva. Edwin Nunn reports.
This empty block, which currently serves as a parking lot, will be home to a state-of-the-art $40 million structure.
So what you see behind me is basically an artist impression of the architectural drawing of a 15-story building. You are looking at around 35 to 40 million. We have appointed a project manager, we have appointed an architect, and we are in the process of appointing other service engineers and things like that.
The building has always been in the plans for Fijian Holdings, but the design and construction plans weren't cemented until recently. Chief Executive Nuzab Farid says the FHL Tower will cater for high-end tenants.
We don't want to spend money without really knowing who is going to stay inside. So at this stage we are talking to corporates, we are talking to multilateral agencies, we are talking to embassies. So depending on the demand and depending who want to come inside this building and who want the naming rights, depending on that, so definitely we'll be starting in the first quarter of next year.
The multi-million-dollar project is a sign that the largest investment firm in Fiji approves of how the economy is shaping up.
We are in the center of the CBD, Central Business District of Suva, and we are close to the Parliament, we are close to the Albert Park, close to the two big hotels in Suva. So we see that there is a big demand coming from multilateral agencies and international agencies and the embassies to occupy this position.
Most of the work on the 15-story building will be done in-house using FHL's many business arms. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Tomato farmers in Sawau district on the island of Benga are hoping to form a cooperative to help them better market their produce. There are about 50 tomato farmers in the 5 villages of the district. Eleanor Turangiview visited Benga recently for this report.
Benga Island is well known for its firewalkers as well as off-season tomatoes.
Before we were born, Benga is known for tomato farming. During those days, we have to go from here right to Suva to sell tomato in Suva. That was way back in late 50s, early 60s. Mainly that is the crop that we sell.
The farmers only plant tomatoes during the off-season, starting in November, and harvesting begins a month later. The farmers face challenges of high cost of transporting tomatoes to the mainland, as well as the lack of an established market.
We normally put our tomatoes in cases, but sometimes one farmer can supply 100 cases. That's according to the 50 farmers, maybe 500 cases in a week. We are looking for a market now to give us a good price.
In 2013, government supplied over $20,000 worth of building materials to the villages for the construction of a cooperative following a request from the farmers. So our cooperative is built on the Kuni village, and the construction was completed by the villagers as a form of contribution towards the project.
Very big benefit, because one reason we have to sell our tomatoes from here within the island, rather than take it up to Nabu or to Suva. We have to pay the transportation here to there. It's cost about $400 for a boat.
Farmers will now be required to pay their registration fee of $150 before the cooperative can begin operations. Eleanor Turangiview, FBC News.
Miss Public Service Commission Fungawai Bulivo was crowned Miss Friendly North in the Vodafone Festival of the Friendly North at Subrail Park in Lambasa last night. An emotional Bulivo dedicated her win to her parents and her sponsors. The first runner-up was Miss Jaduram Industries, Andi Senimeli Koroi, while Miss Lambasa Town Council Artika Neelamdale was named the second runner-up. Miss Charity was won by Miss Fiji Sugar Corporation.
To the Commissioner of Norton's office, thank you for providing your support ever since I was chosen to present Public Service Commission, and all the public servants out there, Northern Division. This crown goes out to all of you.
Miss Charanjit Singh Group of Companies Manisha Prasad was crowned Miss Personality, while Miss LICI Famiza Nisha was named Miss Photogenic. Many successful individuals today are driven to do even better based on the struggles they experience from childhood. Our successful Fijian today will feature our flying Fijian skipper Akapu Singera and how his struggles have motivated him to continue to push forward. Eleanor Turangaivu has the story.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Born in Suva in 1984, Akapu Singera was like any normal kid growing up in a rugby-crazy country. He took part in school's rugby while still in primary school and developed his love for the sport from there.
And that's where I learned more about rugby too as well. And that's when I knew that there's something in this sport that I can start off my life.
Ngera, or Kiu as he is widely known, started his rugby career with the Coastal Stallions in the 2005 to 2006 season. During this time, he also played for the Fiji under-21 side and made his international debut for the Fiji Warriors during the Pacific Nations Cup match against Samoa. He relocated to play professional club rugby in England and then to France, where he is now playing for Montpellier. He played in his first Rugby World Cup in 2007.
2007 is a major achievement for me at a younger age, to be in the quarterfinal of a Rugby World Cup, and that's something that I cannot erase from my memory.
Like every successful person, Ngera has had his highs and lows. His greatest obstacle is himself.
Sometimes I limit what I can do. Sometimes I think about what other people think about me, and that's sometimes it's a stoppage to what I can do, and that's a major obstacle in my life, and I'm trying my best to fight it. I still fight it.
The hard-hitting flanker is the product of a sporting family. His father played international cricket for Fiji, and his elder brother Tiku Matawalu, who he looks up to, plays rugby locally.
Managed to steal some of his ideas, steal some of his experience in order for me to start off this campaign. To where I am right more at the moment, I look back and he still advises me on what to do, on what I can do to better off my decision making and some other bits of pieces in rugby sense.
It's rare to hear of a successful rugby player going into his own business. This is exactly what the soft-spoken family man recently did. He launched his business Q7, which is aimed at developing rugby players from the grassroots level.
It's all about trying to help younger people who want to achieve something in life and to be a role model that younger people can look up to.
Ngera continues to add more accomplishments to his list of achievements. The recent one is captaining the Flying Fijians for the 2015 Rugby World Cup. The Lakamba lad wants to be known as someone who has influenced the life of a younger person to do better and be successful. Ngera dedicates his success to his wife Philippa, who has been his strength through his rugby career, and their 3 children. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Stay tuned. Coming up in sports, an emotional send-off for the World Cup-bound Flying Fijians. And Suva retains Netball Championship title. All that and more after the break.
छू 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 हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
Welcome to FBC Sports. It was a solemn farewell for the central base players in the Vodafone Flying Fijian squad to the Rugby World Cup. A small number of family members, supporters and rugby officials turned up at the Grand Pacific Hotel in Suva this afternoon to spend to send the handful of players off to England. Chalindo Dhaka reports.
Farewells are always an emotional time, and it was no different this afternoon as the Flying Fijians began their journey to the World Cup. Hugs and kisses, last words of encouragement and photos were the order of the day before the players boarded the team bus for Nandi. Many rugby pundits have tagged the Flying Fijians as the dark horses capable of causing upsets. The emotional send-off, according to the players as they departed the capital city, would have motivated them to conquer any obstacles in their path when the World Cup begins on the 19th of September. Silent Odakavaka, FBC Sports.
Well, Nandrunga had to fend off a strong comeback from Nandi to retain the HFC Bank Fairbrother Trophy with a 26-23 victory yesterday at Lawanga Park. It was a game of two halves as the host dominated the opening spell before weathering the storm from Nandi in the second half to escape with the narrow win.
And he goes for the kick, and it's looking good, and it's over. Chokluta once again to Varro. Varro offloads to Lotena Singa, and it's an intercept here by Eremasi Rondronro. They won't catch him. Wonderful try there from Eremasi Rondronro. Now to Watunitu passes now to Setaraki Tuidubu, and looks like Tuidubu will score Nandi's first try. On the ground, and Watunitu missed cutout pass there to Cyril Reese, but it's picked up by Wangatabu, and Wangatabu is going in for a try now. They won't catch him. Now to Tuidubu in a fly half position, almost intercepted there by Kalo, but Nandi broke through. It's Lotena Singa on attack, and will he make it? Yes, he can. Wonderful try there by Nandi. Wangatabu goes for the kick. It's a handy position right in front of the sticks, and it's well over inside the 22-meter line. And referee says it's all over here.
Vatukola will challenge Nandrunga for the HFC Bank Fairbrother Trophy next Saturday. Team Fiji to the Commonwealth Youth Games in Samoa next month were treated to a farewell lunch in Suva today. It was the first time for the squad to come together and mingle before they head to Apia next week. Chalindo Dhaka has more.
47 athletes will be flying the nation's flag in Samoa during the Commonwealth Youth Games. A special lunch was organized this afternoon to farewell the youngsters, and it was also a chance for the athletes to meet their fellow reps from the 7 different sports.
The Western Bay swimmers have been in Suva. The rugby teams have been able to there's quite a few rugby players from all around Fiji, particularly from Lavuka and that. So they've all been able to get together and have had training camps down at Pacific Harbour. And the athletes that are based out of Suva have been in Suva training, so I think their final preparation is coming along very well.
Most of these athletes will be representing the country for the first time, and officials have tried as hard as they can to ensure that the transition from local to international duties is a smooth one for the youngsters.
Luckily for a lot of the sports, some of the coaches, like for instance in athletics, Makalesi is the coach, and they're only allowed one official, unfortunately, for most of the sports. So there's former athletes, and I think they've been really good mentors. Like Sharon is a previous swimmer coach for swimming, Joe Voetti, weightlifting. So the kids have seen how their coaches have come a long way.
The 47-member squad will depart for Apia next Friday, with the Commonwealth Youth Games to be opened the following day. Talendo Dakavaka, FBC Sports.
The Suva Netball side has successfully retained the Digicel Punja's Netball Championships last night after beating Lautoka 55-36 in the final. The star-studded side, laced with national reps such as Maria Lutua, Nina Dirikisuva, Afa Rusivakula and Jane Costello, proved too strong for the Westerners. In the semi-final, Suva defeated the Taraima Mitchell-led Nasinu side 32-21, while Lautoka edged Nandrunga 23-19. Well, Suva also triumphed in the Major B final, beating Lautoka 38-19, as well as in the Under-19 final, 39-33. Pritesh Khatri has won the Fiji International Open Snooker Tournament at the Merchant Club after beating youngster Rahil Prasad 3-2 in the final. Khatri, a veteran player, defeated Nitesh Chand 3-0 in the semi-finals. He was awarded $1,000 for the win. The three-day tournament has been hailed a success by organisers.
The development that Fiji Billiard Snooker had taken is now showing results. The young players like Rahil and Sahil, they are playing at semi-final. The two brothers are playing semi-final against each other. And apart from that, our third national ranking winner, Pritesh Khatri, is in very good form.
The next national ranking tournament for snooker players will be held on the 19th and 20th of September in Lautoka. Mostly fine conditions experienced over the group today. A trough of low pressure lies over western Kiribati and extends over Tokelau and Cook Islands, while trade wind flow prevails over most of the southwest Pacific. Looking at temperatures, all centres receive temperatures in the high 20s today, with Suva and Savu recording the lowest as at 3 p.m. today, 25 degrees, and Nandi and Lambasa the highest at 28 degrees. Tomorrow for land areas of Yasawa, eastern and southern Viti Levu, western Vanua Levu, Kandavu and nearby smaller islands Lau and Lomai Viti group, strong southeast winds with average speeds of 45 km per hour. Elsewhere, it should be fine apart from few brief showers over the interior, southern and eastern parts of the larger islands. It will be cool at night. And the further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Once again, cool at night. Our main points in this bulletin: Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama criticizes use of English language over the years, saying it has deteriorated. Government upgrades government shipping services infrastructure. A new board to look into lack of efficiency within LTA. On to our poll question: are current measures for public service vehicle inspection adequate? You can visit our FBC website to take part. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us on Facebook, FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips, FBC News or hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.